Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome to this video tutorial. Today, we're going to dive into the world of C++ functions. We'll explore what functions are, what's the basic syntax of function, and some program that use function in it. Well, functions are the building blocks of well-structured programs. They make your code more readable, maintainable, and reusable. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create custom function to perform specific tasks. So let's just dive in. First of all, I'll show you what the basic syntax of function. Here's there are return underscore type. This is specifies the data type of the value that the function will return. If the function doesn't return any value, then the return type is void. Return type has so many kind of data types. Some just like data type that is integer, boolean, string, character, and etc. But when the function it doesn't return any value, so the return type is void. Next, we move to function underscore name. That is a unique identifier for the function. It should follow the naming convention of C++. And then we have parameter underscore list that is an optional list of variables that are passed for the function of each parameter has a data type and a name. And then below we have a function body. This is where the actual code of the function is written. And then the last we have return expression. This is an optional statement that returns a value from the function. Next, I'll show you the example of use of function. Uh, the, I'll show you the example of use the basic syntax of function. In here, we have integer. The integer is the return type, indicating that the function will return an integer. And then we have add in the function name, and then we have a and b as the parameters of the type in the integers. And then for the function body, we'll calculate the sum of a and b and stores it in the sum variable. And then lastly, we have the return statements to return the value of sum. Next, I'll show you. I'll show you some project that use function in it. First info, the first project is a project that use function to find the maximum value of numbers that we input. So in here, we will input two kind of numbers or two kind of input numbers, and then from two input there, we'll find the maximum input and we'll show it in the terminal. For the structure, we have include IO stream. This line includes the input or output stream library, which allows the program to interact with the user through the console for like input and output operations. And then we have using namespace std. The line tells the compiler to use the std namespace, which contains standard C++ component like cout and cin. This avoids having to type std semicolon semicolon before every standard library item. And then we define a function. These lines declare a function name chari underscore maximum underscore 3034 3244 that takes two integer arguments build1 and build2 and returns an integer. The function purpose is to find the maximum value between the two input numbers. And then the next line, if bill 1 is greater than bill 2, return bill 1, else return bill 2, it compares and returns the maximum. Inside the function, an if statement compares bill 1 and bill 2. If bill 1 is greater, it returns bill 1. Otherwise, it returns bill 2. And then we have the main function. We define the main function. This is the entry point of program with integer main. And then we print a header. This line prints a header to the console, indicating the purpose of the program, with program mencari nilai maksimum. Next line is prompt for input. This code prompts the user to enter the first number and stores it in the variable angka 1. And then next line, uh, just like before, it's prompt for input. Similarly, this line prompts the user to enter the second number and stores it in the variable angka 2. And then we calls the function. This line calls the cari underscore maximum underscore 2024 32044 function with the input numbers angka 1 and angka 2 and stores it the result in the hasil variable. And then we print the result. This line prints the maximum value found by the function to the console. And then for the return 0, this indicates that the program has executed successfully. And if we uh, if we run the function, then the show will look like this. First, we input the first numbers, or in here the variables is called angka pertama. I inputted 95, and then we input the second numbers. I inputted 80, and then of course the greater number is 95, so the function read the greatest number or uh, the greatest number or the bilangan terbesar is 95. It's like that. Okay, next let's we move to the second project. That is we make um we make a basic calculator with a function program. I'll explain to you the structure of this program. The first one is include stream. Just like before, this line is includes the input or output stream library, which allows the program to interact with the user through the console. And then we have using namespace std that tells us that tells the compiler to use the std namespace, which contains standard C++ components like cout and cin. This avoids having to type std double semicolon before every standard library item. And then we define the function. This line declares a function named calculator underscore Dzaky underscore Hilmy that takes three arguments, two integers bilangan A and bilangan B, and a character operasi. The function returns an integer which will be the result of the calculation. And then for the line switch operasi, we use this a switch statement. This statement checks the value of the operasi variable and executes the corresponding case. And then next line, if the operation is addition, uh, or if the user entered addition, the code inside this case will be executed. And then for the next line, perform addition. We calculate the sum of bilangan A and variables bilangan B and stores the result in the hasil variable. The next line is just like before, but the differences is if before is addition, then this is subtraction. If If the user entered subtraction, then the code inside this case will be executed. And the perform subtraction and the next line is perform subtraction. It calculates the difference between bilangan A and bilangan B and stores it in the result of hasil variable. And for the next line, we have default. If the operation is invalid, uh, it tells us if the operation is invalid. If the user enters an invalid operation, like other than addition or subtraction, for example, like multiplication or uh, power or some etc. The code inside the code inside the default case will be executed, and and then if the operation is not valid, the next line is prints an error message. If the operation is invalid, this code prints an error message to the console and returns 0 to indicate an error. In the next line, we have we started the main function which defines the main function with integer main. This is the entry point of the program. And then we print a header in the next line. This line prints a header to the console indicating the purpose of the program. For the header, we have calculator penjumlahan dan pengurangan. And then we prompt for the input in the next line. This code prompts the user to enter the first number and stores it in the variable bilangan satu. And then we call the function. This line calls the calculator underscore Dzaky underscore Hilmy function with the input numbers and operation and stores the result in the hasil variables. And then we print the result. This line prints the result of the calculation to the console. And then in the last line we have return 0, which indicates that the program has executed successfully. This program has three conditions which I have told you, that is addition, subtraction, and when the operation is invalid. I'll show you the first one when the condition is addition. When the condition is addition, for example, we input the first numbers is 90 and the second numbers is 95, and the operation we input is addition, then it will sum the first numbers and the second numbers, or in variables we call it bilangan A and bilangan B, and then the result will show to us it is 185, the summary of 90 and 95. That if the condition is addition. But what if the condition is subtraction? It will show us the result, the subtracting of the first number minus the second numbers. In here, we input the first numbers is 80 and the second numbers is 75. Then the result is 5. And the last, if we input the operation is other than addition or subtraction, it will show to us the operation is invalid. Then the result is of course 0 because the operation is invalid. So there are nothing to count or nothing to, yeah, subtract or addition like that. Yeah, that's all from me for today's practicum. Thank you for watching and bye.